Everything what we say can be used for us.
Exactly. So how's your week been?
Oh my goodness, crazy. I'm still in the recovery after being for more than 4 weeks in Europe, relocating my daughter. But I'm finally getting a hang of it, and I'm happy to be back at work. I love what I'm doing. I love real estate. However, I'm like seeing that the market is changing. So I think maybe today, Mike, I can pick your brain. We can talk about how about some like mistakes realtors might do with home sellers. What do you think? Are there might be common theme, and especially if market is changing, maybe let's start with pricing a property. What are the most common mistakes? And you can look at it from home sellers and the realtors because they both have to agree on a something, on a number. That's
Well, they're supposed to agree on
Yeah, well,
something.
they have to, otherwise they can't sign anything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know it's a big one. So,
Yes, I'm dealing with one right now that we listed it and went through the net sheet. We went through everything, and we got uh, an investor that made an offer 20,000 under what the asking price was, and this couple said, "We just want to get out of this mess. Take it." And I'm like, I I don't know if you can. And it looked like they were going to have to bring money to the table. And they said, "We don't care. We don't care." And I'm like, "You're selling it because you haven't made a house payment for the last 4 months. You're broke. How can you bring money to the table? Do we got to pay them? We got to pay the back mortgage?" Uh, yeah, you do. A lot of times home sellers don't understand numbers. They just don't get it. They think they bought the house for 475, and if they sell it for 550, man, look at the money we're going to make. We're going to make $75,000.
mm,
Uh, no, especially when you haven't made 4 months worth of house payments. You've got real estate commission and taxes and all this other stuff. They don't understand it. So some of the things that I find, and I find it with for sale by owners, I find it with new realtors, experienced realtors, they don't know how to price the listing.
mhm,
Now, there's several ways to price it. You can price it a little below market and try to get a bidding war going. You can price it on the $25,000 mark so that you cover both the people coming up to that $25,000 mark, and for the next 25,000, you cover more people. You can price it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You looked a little dazzled.
well, why don't you elaborate a little bit longer? Because that was
Okay.
something very specific. And if we have a new realtors, new agents who are watching or listening, they might go like, what?
Yep. Let's just pick a number. Let's pick the house that's going to be listed at 200,000.
Deal.
Now then, you can price it at 199.99,
Hmm.
but we all know that a lot of websites, when you're searching for homes, are based on 25 or $50,000 increments.
Oh.
So if you price it at 199.99, 99.99, whatever, you're going to get people from either 175 up to 200, and that's it, or 150 up to 200. That's all you're going to get. But if you price it, instead of doing the 99.99 stuff, if you priced it right at 200, then you're going to get people from the 175 or 150 up to 200 and from 200 to 225 or 250. So you get twice as many people that could be interested. So you can do that. But now then, that's the easy part. The hard part is deciding what is the market value. So you can price it properly to begin with. Now then, yes, there are tools out there that can help you through your MLS and so forth. There's all kinds of new tools. And yes, those are great, many of them, but those are static tools. They're not the tools that you have with you, which are your own eyes and your experience. So what I mean by that is you walk into a house. Is the house an average house? Is it below average? Is it way above average? And what I mean by that, have they done significant upgrades? Or on the other hand, have they just trashed the hell out of the house? And you have to be able to figure that out. And then you have to be able to figure out what is the mean price for the neighborhood. Yes, people are pricing the house at, we're going to stay with that $200,000 house because I don't even think they sell $200,000 houses anymore. But you look at the neighborhood and you say people are pricing all these houses at 175, but they're selling for 230 and 240. So what's the real price? Where do you begin your price? Do you begin at the lower end or do you go to the high end? What do you do? Why are you going to do what you're doing? Is there rhyme or reason to it? And with that, you've got to also look at the market. Is the market going up? Is the market coming down? Is it a buyer's market, a seller's market? Is there no market? What is it? I mean, I've just recently been to a neighborhood where nobody has moved in probably 10 years. Everybody's there. There's a subdivision of 16 houses, and there's nobody sold. They all bought them from the builder and nobody's gone anywhere. So how do you price that street? So you've got to figure out how to do that. And it's not easy. And that's where experience comes in. And if you have to, you've got to ask another realtor in the office. You got to ask your broker. You've got to ask sometimes, I've many times, maybe not many times, but sometimes I've even talked to appraisers and houses that have sold outside of that area. I've called the appraiser and said, I know you appraised this house for this. I've got one that's a few streets over that I see you used as a comp. Why did you use it as a comp? And they'll tell me why they used it as a comp. And then I can say, oh, maybe I can use theirs as a comp or something else. So you've really got to get creative when you're looking at the pricing. Now, in a seller's market, I know all you have to do is stick a sign in the yard and the house is sold. A lot of this stuff goes by the wayside. But that's the benefit of being a realtor for quite some time, because you get the benefit of sellers markets. You get the benefit of buyers markets, and you have to survive and live through and really do your job in a normal market, because being a realtor is not sticking a sign in the yard and putting some outlandish price on a piece of property and it sells.
Yeah.
It's doing the market research. So you've got to learn how to do that. And if you can price it right and market it, you can be in this business for a long time. I mean, you can last. You
Oh,
can.
absolutely. Absolutely. How would you recover? This is still related to the common mistakes sellers might do, or even realtors, when it comes to pricing a property. How do you recover from pricing it wrongly? That would be overpricing, right? Well, it could be also the situation that the sellers are demanding certain price and will not budge, and there are some agents who will just keep on chipping until it sells.
No,
How would you,
no.
I understand. How would you recover? I'm putting you on the spot. You will never be, because you don't do such a thing. But if there is someone who will do such a thing as overpricing a listing, how do you recover? What do you do? Please help.
When you overprice a listing, it gets a stigma
Yes.
of something wrong with the house. So normally, in a normal market, if you've overpriced it a little bit, you can come down a little bit and maybe a smidge more, and you can get some interest.
Mhm.
You can also just come down a little bit, but add some other incentives, such as sellers going to pay for, and you can list some things, a home warranty, seller is going to pay, give an allowance for carpet. That doesn't really work a whole lot anymore, but they can do that. But in the market that we are just coming out of, with the pricing being so high and people making offers way over the listing price, if you have overpriced it, you have to really come down. I
Mhm.
mean, come down significantly before you'll get people interested, because the house already has a bad
Yeah.
stigma about it. So you really don't want to overprice it at all if you can help it.
Mhm.
And if anything, if you underprice it in the market that we're just coming out of or still in, you'll still get multiple offers. I mean, I just had multiple offers on one well, I guess it's Thursday of last week, which is still within a week. So that happens.
Yeah. What
So
if you would get a expired listing which was overpriced? Would you wait 2 months for the records not to be publicly visible about the overpriced listing and then list it, or how would you approach it?
no,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
There are ways that you can change the listing and not have to wait at all for it to go back to zero, and a lot of the history can be wiped out. But that's not for today.
Okay.
What would I do if I had an expired listing that has been on the market for 60 or 90 days and it didn't sell and it didn't have any price reduction, and somebody gave me this sow's ear and said, sell it? Or it could be a nice home that was just way overpriced.
Okay.
Well, the first thing I would do is change all the marketing description, change it all, and change the pictures. You have to change the pictures anyway, but I mean really change them. Go from daylight pictures to nighttime pictures with all the lights on. Or if it's summertime and it still hasn't sold, I would get rid of the front picture with the snow in the front yard. Um, you know,
Yeah.
freshen up the look, freshen up the description, and add some incentives.
Mhm.
One thing that I have used, and um, and I've been using it for 20 years, is a certified house.
What does it mean?
You ever buy a certified car?
I have no
You know what a
recollection.
certified car is? That's where the dealership says, we're going to certify this car as good as new,
Oh,
even
wow.
though it's 1 or 2 years old.
Mhm.
So you can do a certified home. All you do with that is you have the seller turn around and give a home warranty.
Okay.
You turn around and have the seller do a pre-inspection.
Mm.
You turn around and have the seller do an appraisal on the house. So
Oh.
now when somebody comes in, they're going to see, yes, here is here is an inspector. This is an inspection. This is what they found. This is what I fixed. Here's a warranty to cover the things that I didn't fix. And yes, the home will appraise. I am not overpriced.
Mhm.
And you do some of these things, and you can do, seller, if you don't do some of those things, you can do, seller paying some sort of closing cost, down payment, some sort of repairs, or get creative.
Mhm.
So just make it look completely different.
You can, with all of this, you suggested you can totally recover.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, you can.
I think the pricing is the number one common mistake. Like there are so many, and I would like to cover more of them in our future conversations. But I think the pricing is the biggest one, right? Don't you
Yeah,
think?
that's one of the biggest. The other one is the clutter.
Oh, tell me
I
about
mean,
it.
some of these houses you go in, it makes the house look so small because they have so much
Stop.
junk in the house and they don't clean it. I mean, you get people calling for a showing, and it's like they were having lunch and they've got kids and high chairs, and they get up and leave, and they leave the food on the table. They leave. I mean, it's disgusting. Sometimes they forget to crate their pets.
Hmm.
And I walked into a house one time, and the guy goes, "Oh, I've got a dog, but he's real friendly." I'm like, okay, I'll gamble this time. And I opened the front door and I had to look up because two Great Danes were looking at me. Like, nope, not going in. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, houses, people, and the excuse I got from this one guy, he said, "Well, they're not buying my shit." It's like, no, they're not, but they're not going to buy your house with all your crap making
Yeah.
your house look bad.
Yeah.
You want to make your house look like a display home as much as you can.
Yeah.
But no, these people.
The presentation game has changed because of HGTV. I'm gonna fully blame it
Oh yeah.
on the romantic situations when people are falling in love at the home. Now everyone wants to fall in love at the home. I had a client where I did a consultation, and I was telling him that he needs to paint, declutter, remove collections. He was a big football fan, and he needs to clean the kitchen, clean the counters. And he looked at me and he said, well, when I bought this house, I saw it when the family was having a dinner and was perfectly fine, with their stuff. And I've asked him, when did you buy it? And he was like, well, 1978.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe you liked what they were serving for dinner.
Game
But
has changed. Yes.
yeah, things have changed, and they're changing all the time.
Yeah.
Um, you've got to remember, people are looking, they're looking for perfection. They want to buy a house with absolutely nothing wrong. And when they see a house where the kitchen table is sticky, the floor around it is sticky, the cabinets look like they have never been cleaned on the outside. I
Yeah.
mean, they're like, oh, what else are we missing?
Yeah. And
Out
it's a,
they
it's an
go.
immediate first impression. Like each room can give us that first impression. And if it's dirty, oh my goodness, or if it smells bad because of animals or poor hygiene or bad, cooking, not
Cigarettes,
bread,
cigars.
yes, so many things which will hit the senses. People will immediately make a decision, hit the red button, and go to the next one. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. The big one is cat odor.
yeah.
I mean, you can get rid of dog smell, but the cat, it is hard to get rid of.
Yeah, that is okay. Speaking of experience, animal urine is really bad because it goes inside the carpet. It can go into any porous material. That means hardwood, that means concrete. And I had only handful of homes like this when everything had to be ripped out and the flooring, the concrete had to be sealed. I think the material is called shellac. And then the new flooring could have been installed because even if you put the new flooring on top of the stinky one, it's gonna go through back again.
Yep. Yep. That is true. The only thing you can do if you've got somebody in your, and it's a $200,000 house, they don't have any money or whatever, paint. Get
Yeah,
the fresh smell of
yeah,
paint.
yeah.
That will mask it, at least for the showing and the purchase. But you're right, it will come back. It comes
It
back.
will come
Clean
back.
clean the vents.
Clean the vents as well. Well, the odor will come back because it's a bacteria actually, and it grows. So
Yep.
even the machines, the ozone machines, they can kill it, but it's just gonna come back again. Like what I would recommend is to keep the temperature lower because the heat also promotes the bacteria growth. But man, I can speak for hours on this topic.
Oh, I know. I've got so many stories from all the years of selling real estate. I mean, we could sit here for months and go over all the
And
stories.
also the problem is that homeowners, they don't smell the smell of their house. They might
No.
they might not even know that it just has an odor to other people who are coming from the outside. So even that, and that is such a sensitive topic that I will always recommend for realtors to have a knowledgeable, experienced home stager who is the bearer of the bad news.
Yeah.
That's sometimes or very often that's how I start my consultations, that I'm the bad guy and they giggle and then I can tell them, well, you know what, we need to do something here.
Well,
That's
I do it a little differently sometimes. When I find a nasty listing that for some reason I want to take, either it's somebody that I know or a referral from somebody,
okay.
is I tell them, you know what? In order to get this priced right, what I would like to do is have a couple of realtors come in,
Oh,
act like buyers, and give us their feedback. And you can be here when they come through. And they're like, okay. And I have some people that I know, I'll call them and say, okay, got another one. And they will come through and they'll,
they'll be honest, but at the end,
oh yeah, they
that's
won't pull any
important.
punches.
Yeah, yeah, it's important because it will help at the end, it will help the seller. It will help your client.
The
It,
idea is to get them as much money as you can get them, because that will make them happy. And if you make them happy, they're going to give you a referral. And if they give you a referral, that's more money that you're going to be making.
True. Well, okay, speaking of money, I have another common mistake. When home sellers don't want to do repairs or updates because they're saying, well, I can't afford it. I don't want to put money in a house. I need to save money for my new house. And from my perspective, from a home staging perspective, we always educated that it's an investment. It's not expense. So how do you persuade homeowners, home sellers to do basic, even repairs? You know, let's say if the door handle is missing, if the light bulbs are broken, like some basic stuff, which is not even expensive, but they can fight you on pennies, right?
Yeah. Well, all I can think of when you're saying that is the two ladies from Seattle that drive the VW bus. The two realtors that come in and say, okay, well, your house would be so much better if you did this, this, and this. And they say, we haven't got any money. And they say, we'll do that. We'll put our money in, but the first money out is going to be our money. And then we're going to split anything over and above. And it's like, oh, if they had those people in every city, that would be great. But they don't. So what I do is I talk about that show. You know what? There's a TV show where the realtor or an investment company will come in and say, you know what, you need $30,000 worth of updates and your house will sell for 45,000 more. And they're like, yeah, right. So here's what we're going to do. We'll come in and do all this. We'll front the money and we'll get our 30,000 back and we'll split the other 15. How's that? And they say, well, great, that'll work. And then I tell them that these ladies never mess up. They're making money hand over fist. So listen to me. The stuff you put in will net you more money. And if you don't have the money, then we've got to go to a smaller scale. And I refuse to get involved in that because I don't want to see any conflict of interest of any kind. But it's like, you know, you've got to put in some money to make it happen. Otherwise, it's just, you're going to net less money. And I have 40 some odd years of experience in this. I know what's going to happen. I know the market. This house will net significantly more money if you put in the few $1,000s.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if we would list that, let's say the most important 3 updates, not even repairs. So you already mentioned paint. I like to refer to paint as a money in a bucket. What would be the second? Like where would you see it, the money well spent or invested? So paint, number 1.
Flooring,
Yes.
outside landscaping.
Outside landscaping. So I would throw in light fixtures because they have gotten so inexpensive and they, you know, they immediately, they brighten up the space, right? Buyers like to buy light homes, light color brighten homes. And also they immediately make the property look newer. Okay, so guys, remember, paint, landscaping, flooring, light fixtures.
Yeah. And then if you want to, you could also throw in, but see, this starts getting expensive then. Door handles,
Yeah.
cabinet knobs.
Well, but yes, that can be expensive because then you also need to change the hinges. Okay, we are getting into
Oh
detail.
yeah. See, it snowballs. I like the landscaping, the outside, because you got curb appeal to suck them in. I
That's big.
like the paint because most people's eyes will hit the middle of the wall. And
Yeah,
then
and
what do? Is they look down to see where they're going to be walking, and that's going to be the floor.
yeah.
So that's what also, do you know how many people paint when they paint the ceilings? Hardly anybody.
Well,
It's
but that's a
too
massive
hard.
mistake. That's like a do not a do place, okay? Ceiling needs to be flat white, flat white. Repeat after me, flat white. Because any sheen in it will show imperfections. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need to, let's go back to school.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, they've got ceiling white that
Yeah.
is antique white, it's bright white, and it's brilliant white.
Yes.
People go, if I get the brilliant white, it'll make the house look bigger. No, it'll make the house look where you see every screw, every nail, every seam.
The
No.
finish is very important to understand. I think I should do a separate coaching on that.
There you go. I think we need to have a conversation with you. I'll interview you sometime.
Yes. I'm available.
Okay.
Okay, so one more time because this is so important that every agent will soak this information in. Curb appeal, you will never lose money on a basic trimming, clearing, fresh mulch, maybe adding some pop of a color if the weather permits. Then painting interior, maybe even front door, right? Or the
Front
railing.
door, definitely.
Yeah. And then the flooring and the light fixtures. Maybe in a kitchen is important. So painting the cabinets, that would be phenomenal as well, and updating the hardware. But then we are little so Bianca. Okay, this session brought to you by Bianca. Hold on. She's the alarm. We're training. Anyway, you heard the most important recommendations, and then it can go much more in a detail, like Mike was saying, doorknobs, hinges, all these little details. But
Now, a lot of those things you will not get your money back.
yes.
That'll be more, oh, look, I like this. Look at the lever handles that are bronze colored. Or, I mean, my wife wanted to go through the house and change everything from the nickel color to bronze, the oil bronze.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking here, and I started going through the house, and I said, we've got 93 doors in this house.
It's expensive. Yes.
Yeah.
So I would pass on that. I would focus when you're selling a regular type of a home, okay? We are not talking about mega mansions or multi-million-dollar listing that needs a different approach because it's a different clientele. But the average home, exactly what we were talking about, and you're ready to go, and you will get the money back. The seller will get the money back.
And the last thing you've got to look at is the clutter. You want to make sure that you've got room for the realtor, the husband and wife to walk through the house. You don't want to put flowers real close to the front door with the pop of color that nobody can get in the house. It's got to be single file. No, and you don't want to have so much stuff cluttered around the front door. You walk in the front door, you've got a big long table, you've got something on the floor here. What I tell everybody is you want to act like the 3 people that are coming in are the Michelin men, the Michelin family. They're not going to knock anything over. They can walk in comfortably.
Yeah, I like that. Because at the end, sellers are selling space, right? Walls, floors, windows, not their personal collections and a mess and unwanted stuff or wanted stuff. And buyers need to see it, and it's our job, right, to help them.
Yeah, the buyers are the ones that are going to give you the money that you want. Make it appeal to the buyers. Remember, they're going to make memories in the house. They're not going to buy the house and take over your memories. They're going to make their own. So I went back to my old house that we sold, and I was like, what the hell did they do to it? You know what? I sold it. I got top dollar. I was happy. Top dollar at that time. I was happy. I moved. It's gone. It's not my house anymore. Yeah, the memories, but those are in the books that my wife made,
Yeah.
and
It's
they're in my mind.
stored in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're selling an item. You're not selling. You gotta detach yourself.
Yeah. Well, help the sellers detached, number one. Yes. And understand that their home is their commodity. And you are there to help to get them from A to B, from listed to sold, right? Is not the
Actually, you know
ever.
what I'm there for? I'm there to help them get in the house they're buying,
Oh,
because they're buying a new, bigger house that they're going to be excited about. So
yeah,
I help them with that dream, that
yeah,
we're selling this and, negotiating the price to this. Okay, that might not be comfortable, but look what it's doing. It's
yeah.
getting you in your new home faster.
That's true. Yeah, the future pacing is a really nice tool. So the sellers don't get stuck on a small little details. And seeing them in the future in a couple months somewhere with the grandchildren in Florida or home of their dream, that is perfect. That's a great way to do it. Mike, thank you so much. I know that you have compiled a really nice big list of the common mistakes. Today we covered only three, but a big three mistakes, from pricing to making sure that the property looks the way it needs to look. And I appreciate that. I appreciate your time. And I'm looking forward to have you back soon again. And guys, if you are struggling with anything in a real estate, please let us know, because I can bring any topic real estate related to our coach, Mike Cribbin. Thank you again for your time. And I'll
Very
see
welcome.
you soon. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.